Get Into Geek. This is episode 47. We're talking Stargate SG-1, episode 3 of season 3.
Can you just fire off that thing for me already?
That's one.
47. It's basically it's in every episode of Star Trek. In the same way, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is 40 whatever. 47 is basically a recurring thing.
So you just got me to play that to give you permission to say that.
Well, I knew if I started saying you were going to play it, so I was like, we'll play it first, and then I can say it, and then we can move on.
Okay.
That's 2.
Oh, come on!
That's 2.
I didn't even try to make that
That's a
happen.
crock of shit.
We are Get Into Gate. Hopefully you're not joining us for the first time. Otherwise, that wouldn't have made any sense. My name is Mitch. That was Maddie, who's a massive Star Trek fan and likes to, bring in some comparisons to the show between Stargate and Star Trek.
And Gilmore Girls,
You've done
apparently.
it so much. We've limited you to 3, and now you've got 1 left for the episode
And now
before
we've got-
you are shut down.
Now we've got proof that the listeners love it.
Yeah, okay.
One listener.
I had someone write in last week and say
And we're pretty sure it was you on a
I
fake
don't like
account.
That's like 10% of our listenership right there.
Also joining us, Brendan and Rhys.
Howdy do.
Smoking.
Boys.
Just I like Ace Ventura.
Yeah, apparently the last few weeks you just Jim
Jim
Carrey.
carried it.
You've just written a whole bunch down in your phone. Just
Yeah,
every
I
week
have.
you just open it up and go, what's my next favourite quote?
We are the Get Into Gate team. Basically, what we're here to do, if you are joining us for the first time, is just talk Stargate. We're old school fans, Maddie, myself, and Brendan. Rhys, though, is watching it for the first time.
Absolutely.
So we're getting a fresh look on the episodes. We're looking back on seeing whether the show stands up, how these episodes sit after rewatching them so many times. And we're up to episode 3 of season 3. And what we always do is go back to the DVD, the old medium that it is. Look how much space it's taking up. It's not digital, hey?
It's actually
matter.
Solid. What is this?
And you know what? You get to keep it forever. It doesn't just disappear off your computer
Yeah.
after 8 months.
I mean,
Sorry.
hypothetically speaking, it's a really weird thing
Yeah.
that you would say. But
Weird you
anyway,
would pay for something and it would disappear after 8 months.
Yeah. You gotta.
Imagine if you bought that DVD and after 8 months it just disintegrated
Yeah.
and just was not
Just
on
a
your shelf
one-off
anymore.
payment for an edible DVD.
Biodegradable.
Yeah.
all right, episode 3, fair game. O'Neill attempts to stop a Goa'uld invasion of Earth. God damn, he gets a lot of credit. I know his name's on the top of the DVD.
Yeah.
Alone, he attempts to stop an invasion of Earth. I guess that makes sense.
Cool.
But
It's his team.
O'Neill attempts to stop a Goa'uld invasion of Earth, but to call off the attack, the Goa'uld lords demand the destruction of the Stargate. O'Neill doesn't trust them, but the fate of Earth lies in the balance. That hints at everything in this episode, except for the fact that the f***ing Asgard are involved.
Yeah.
Wanted some
Yeah.
credit to old Thor.
No, you don't want to ruin it.
Well, that's true.
You're not bloody wrong.
Except for everything else.
Yeah,
Every other episode.
Because I figured that was a pretty key moment, Rhys. You're watching it for the first time, you get up to that moment, and they're like, we have one extra condition. They don't use the gate anymore. I'm like, right off.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah, both of them like, oh.
Don't tell
Yeah.
them about the third one.
Yeah. Wait,
How
that
did they
was-
know we had 2?
Yeah, exactly. They've done some homework.
Imagine if
somehow.
they go, oh, both of them. You're like, what? We've only got 1. No, you got 2. We know it. It's
Really?
like,
Where?
can you tell us? Because
Yeah.
that's sick.
Because that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if
Send
we
out
never
a-
went to
Yeah.
Antarctica
Yeah.
that episode.
Yep.
We wouldn't know.
Yeah, and it's not like they
Yeah.
could scan from space or anything like that.
No.
So it's just, it's
It
very
was
weird.
dumb.
But how cool was it, Rhys? Jack
Oh
was
man,
Jack was inside an Asgard ship.
when he got beamed up, I'm just like, what the hell? I'm like, oh, that has to be Thor. And then he went into the ship. I'm like, oh my god, Thor's back.
Snap.
Thor's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and when he's like, yeah, I've been in Earth's orbit. And then I'm just
Yeah.
like, that is sweet. And he goes, oh, we
Yeah.
didn't detect you. And he's like, come on, mate.
Yeah.
No,
And Thor-
you never have been
Pull
able
your head
to.
in.
Thor's such a boss. He's like, I ain't walking. I'm teleporting everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
I'm teleporting into this room, then back into this room.
It
in
looks
the
too
ship.
clunky when I walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you didn't notice when Michael Shanks was playing Marcello in Holiday. Did you recognise Thor's voice in this one?
No.
It was
Shank-
Marcello.
It's Marcello. It's Shanksy.
No, is it
Michael
really?
Shanks is the voice of Thor.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
they
For every other time we see Thor from now on,
they flange it a little bit like
Yeah.
like a ghoul.
Yeah,
it's
right.
it's Shanksy.
Just pick up a bit of extra cash on the
Oh,
weekends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A bit of VO work.
Yeah.
He's still got a young child at home, so he wants to get out of that.
Get
Yeah,
out
as
there,
much as
He's
possible.
got nappies to pay for.
Oh, I'm working again tonight. Oh.
He's like, oh, if I get 2 paychecks, I might get half of what Richard Dennison takes home.
Yeah. Twice as hard.
I'm quitting. I'll be back next year.
Look, for me, it was good to see how quick their relationship with Thor started because they have dealt with the Asgard from afar before, and then with the fifth race, O'Neill travelled to. Is that their world, or at least a base of theirs, or whatever?
Othala in the galaxy of Ida.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'm assuming that's their home
Good
planet.
recall.
Yeah, well done.
I've watched it a couple of times.
And so he's dealt with a couple of Asgard. Now,
Yeah,
you'd be
but not
forgiven for
Thor.
saying they all look the same because they do, but we've never actually spoken to Thor face to face in the flesh.
Well, Carter and Daniel have via hologram.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first time Jack's been face to face with Thor.
So it was great to see, like, right from the get-go, he was confiding in him, arguing with him, trying to reason with him. You know, I liked all that, how quick our relationship on behalf of Earth, O'Neill was establishing this relationship. He's a bit of a dick in this episode, Thor. Like, for me, like, I love Thor after watching 10 seasons of SG-1, but I forgot this is his first episode, and I finished it, I'm like, man, you're a bit hard to work with.
Do you think he's still pissed at Carter and Daniel? Remember in Thor's Chariot, he kind of got a bit huffy that they'd messed around with Samara. And he's like,
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't live there.
I guess I'll just do
Guys
it
are
myself.
dicks down there.
They rented out his apartment that he owns up at the beach, and they've come in for the weekend and they've wrecked shit. Yeah,
So he's just
I'd be
like-
pissed too.
Well,
But
it's like dealing with a toddler, isn't it? Like, can't you just learn? Like, stop doing stupid
Yeah,
shit.
so I feel like he's gone like Carter and Daniel are just giving him the irrits. So he's like, okay, I'll go to their direct superior and I'll go to Jack.
Yeah.
Doesn't go to Hammond. He's like, fuck you, Hammond. I'll go straight to Jack
Yeah.
and just see if I can get some sense out of that guy.
But that was the thing. Like, you could tell that he was trying to teach them as well. When Jack comes back to him, he's like, "What should I do?" And he's like, "Hey, it's your planet, man. Do what you want to do. But I'm giving you an out. If you want an out, you decide whether it's good for you or not." And he's obviously like
It's a
trying
bluff,
to teach
but,
him.
you know, we'll
Yeah.
back you up.
it was a shitty treaty. Like O'Neill had
Yeah.
to sit there and just cop that shit. Like the beginning of the, aside from the destroying of the gate, the beginning of the treaty was shit. Where the girl's like, "Okay, so just here in 3A section I, we have it here that humans are to serve no purpose other than to be slaves of the Goa'uld." We all sweet with that, and like Thor's in there going, "Yeah, we've covered this." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
Isn't this the very thing you're trying to stop the
Yeah.
Goa'uld from doing, even
Yeah.
from your own bloody
It's just
galaxy?"
an initial
That's-
hearing for Thor.
It's
He's
kind
like,
of the equivalent of us.
go through the process.
It's the equivalent of us like sitting across the negotiating table from like a cow
yeah.
and just being like, no, you're
Yeah.
here to to sustain us.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So I want to announce on behalf of Get Into Gate, we now have a major Samantha Carter.
Oh yes, well done.
Yes.
I forgot it was this early. Actually, I
Yeah.
feel like because I'm watching one a week, and back in the day I had to wait years for this shit to happen. I'm like, that's right, she's a major already.
So
That's-
many times in the first couple of episodes, I kept going to say Major Carter.
Yeah.
I didn't want to spoil anything for Rhys, so that's why for the last 2 seasons I've just been saying Carter, just because I'm so used to saying Major Carter.
You did good. You know, when this first started, the episode first started, I'm like, oh, is this like a dream sequence? Like like
Carter's
the Secretary
at home in
of
bed, cuddling her teddy bear, just dreaming about
Talking to her
promotion.
I'm like,
plants.
the
Like,
Secretary
oh my
of
God, I can't believe
Defense
it.
is there, and then Carter turns into a major, and I'm like, is this real? Like, no. And then Jack gets beamed up somewhere. I'm like, oh, this is a dream.
And the fact that the Secretary of Defense, like a government official that comes in and for a surprising change loves everything that they
Yeah.
do and has the utmost respect for everyone in the building.
Absolutely.
And he's interesting. So he's the Secretary of Defense, but he's a different Secretary of Defense from the one we met in the Knox.
Yeah, the dick.
They've had an election since then.
Well, so that makes me wonder. Like, I know you guys hated politics, but it's like when Senator Kinsey came in, was that maybe there was a change of government, and that's why he sort of came in? And now,
I just found it odd. Like, he goes, "Oh, the president regrets he couldn't be here." I'm like, well, why couldn't you write him in? Did they just not want to get stuck with one actor, or
yeah,
I feel that
Yeah,
that
true.
was odd. Like, you don't see the president for a bit. It's like,
Yeah.
why?
but then we do get a president in season 7, which is like 4 years
Yeah.
from now. So it's like I feel like it's we've got this new term president, so we've got the
Yeah.
new Secretary of Defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Which I find quite interesting.
So they brought down 3 Goa'ulds.
Yeah,
Sokar, not you, but
Not me.
the guy's name.
not Sokar
You.
either.
Not
Not
me.
Sokar. Definitely not
No,
Sokar.
definitely not Sokar.
Cronus, you, and Nearty.
Why have I got Sokar written down here?
Because you're a
No,
an idiot.
He's the guy that's he's the fire demon head on the iris that's got
from Serpent's Song.
that's got Apophyse's body.
Yeah.
We've never actually met him yet.
He's the devil.
Yeah, the devil guy.
Right.
That we.
Well, Jackson must have been talking about him.
Oh, yeah, he bangs on about him all the
He does
time.
bang on, yeah.
Yeah, I got it written down here. And what's her name? Nettie.
Nearty, yeah.
And she was the one. That's Carter hates her.
Yeah, Cassandra.
Major Carter. Yeah,
Yeah.
she destroyed Cassandra's planet.
Yeah. Oh, just on the Major Carter thing too. Before we move on, is that's the start of like some quote unquote major jokes. Like Martin Wood, when he starts putting himself into episodes, his character is Major Wood. that's what he.
Brilliant.
He's named his character. So yeah, now that Sam's Major, everyone's Major, and there's Major Wood. Major Davis becomes Major Disaster, and yes, there's lots of major.
You'd
jokes
fit in
now.
well with this show, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, oh man, when they came down, they're like, "Oh, no weapons allowed," and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Right?
Like as if they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. There's so many dumb things in the treaty, and they're like, yeah, Asgard, like, yeah, you have to do it, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
I was
Why?
surprised that the Goa'uld didn't come through with like a couple of Jafar, even unarmed.
Yeah.
Like just an entourage, just to
Yeah.
make them look even more important. But I guess
Yeah.
they wanted that look of the three of them coming through,
Yeah.
you know, uninterrupted.
Yeah. Well, I guess
think there'd
that's
be an
part of
entourage.
part of the treaty talk,
But the
right?
Goa'uld, like, they always have like their slaves and all that sort of stuff. So I think they'd want someone there to like attend to their needs or you know
Yeah,
true.
something like that. But
I'll attend to their petty needs.
Yeah.
Daniel Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. You could tell Tilk's like brutal hatred
I know.
for him. Just
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah,
I love when it comes out.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
man.
he seems to hold back, but then in those moments, he's like, no, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are and how powerful you are.
it's funny you say that. I've literally got a piece of audio that I've titled "Teal'c's F you."
Hill, I would like you to act as liaison to the Goa'uld. Dr. Jackson,
General Hammond,
is there a problem?
I mean no disrespect,
Yeah, a
but
little
I have
bit.
given my allegiance to you, to the SGC, and to the people of this world freely.
Get to the point, Tilk.
I will, however, not see to the petty needs of these Goa'uld.
well, that escalated quickly.
See to the petty needs of the Goa'uld, sir.
Thanks, Daniel.
Okay, Dr. Jackson.
Okay, Tilk.
But I thought it was just because he, like, when he was a Jafar, for old mate, he was enemies to them. So I'm like, oh, he must just hate them from that. And then it come out.
Oh, yeah. That he killed Jolinar. And you're like, fuck you, Cronus.
You're a legend.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's bittersweet.
It's not enough that Carter's already hating Nearty because of Cassandra,
Cassandra,
but now I've got to hate Cronus as well because he said the Ashrag.
Oh yeah, and his dad.
Oh,
Tilk's
yeah,
dad.
that's
yeah,
true.
Tilk's dad.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
But worse, Jolinar.
I know that we, had mixed reactions to last week, and that was a very singular episode, but just thinking about Into the Fire a couple of weeks back and then this one here, like, we've had 3 Goa'uld episodes in a row, and I want to say it's been a long time since we've had 3, like,
Yeah, I don't
not
think
carrying
we've ever
season
had
to
that.
season, but in one season. And I'm like,
Yeah.
The first 3 episodes.
3 together,
and-
named, important.
and like
Yeah.
you two
All
guys have
system
been
lords.
saying, that once we hit season 3, we're starting to get a lot more really good episodes.
Yeah.
And season
Oh, yeah, the
4,
momentum really
really
picks
good
up.
episodes.
'Cause
So
that's-
shit's starting to build up. Like the Goa'uld, obviously much more of a threat, but it's a mutual thing where we're a big threat to
Yeah,
them.
the Goa'uld are going, oh shit, okay, well we can't just knock you out. We've got to try and find other, sneakier
Yeah.
ways to nullify you as a threat.
Yeah, we've got to go blow up your planet. Unless
that's-
Thor can help you.
That's 5 of the so-called system lords, or the main Goa'ulds at least, in 2 episodes.
Mm.
Like, that's...
Well, I guess Seth
Yeah.
and Hathor used to be system lords.
Yeah.
But they haven't been in the last, couple of thousand years. So I guess
Yeah.
they're not there retired or whatever
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
yeah, they're
Redundant.
retired, all right.
I got made redundant.
Just talking numbers, and I don't think I mentioned it last week, but when they come in, they talk about Seth, and someone in the room, might have been Jack or someone, says, oh, I don't think we've heard about Seth. And Danny goes, well, I mean, there's probably like thousands of system lords. Am I right, Jacob? Am I right? And he goes, it's about 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's thousands of Goa'uld, Daniel, but
Yeah.
there's only about 12 system lords. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll shut up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got schooled, mate.
The one thing I don't like
Sit down and get a haircut.
is the and they're all 3 of them they're the non-Egyptian Goa'uld.
Yeah.
I find we always talk about the Goa'uld language is supposed to be reminiscent of ancient Egypt, and it's like, well, Cronus is based on Greek mythology. You is obviously from, he was just like an emperor. He wasn't even a god. He was just an emperor in China.
Yeah.
And then Nearty is
Hindu.
But it's like, well, then they're flying around in giant pyramid ships
Yeah.
with hieroglyphic motif decorated on the inside of their ships, but then obviously their outfits are taken from the cultures that they represent. So I'm just like, there's so many cool.
That'd be cool if Cronus had a
Egyptian-
giant bull as a ship. Bullhead as a ship. Just a bull head, even. With the horns, or the horns coming out of the pyramid.
So I think it's good. So obviously the movie helped a lot too, but what an impact the first 2 seasons had on me, because whenever I think about the Goa'uld System Lords, I just think Egyptian gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, that's right. And they brought in other, your Greek gods, and I know he wasn't a god, like you said, but an emperor and things when they started to run out of the really notable ones, in later seasons. But no, they had a non-Egyptian system lord in season 1, and like halfway through or something. That really shocked me rewatching it. So
Brief Candle is a great
Yeah,
one.
like Pelops.
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
all
that's
those
right.
other ones through there.
Yeah. And they had Nearty as well.
Yeah.
Back then.
So it's a little just a bit of a weird inconsistency for me, because it does take away from that coolness of. I get that the Goa'uld obviously influenced all sort of cultures and religions around
I think
Earth.
that's what they're getting at.
Yeah, but the fact that they're all flying around pyramid ships, and the whole premise is why Daniel got involved with the program is because he realized that pyramids were landing platforms for alien spaceships, and it's like.
I feel that was kind of maybe all that gear was Rhys, and they've just taken it over. Once
and that'd
he
be
died.
cool, actually.
Yeah.
But to be honest, first time watching this, I didn't know all the gods off by heart, so I didn't really take notice that they weren't Egyptian. So
see, I did ancient history in high school,
yeah,
and we
didn't have that.
I love.
I didn't go to high school.
As a choice.
I've always been like an ancient Greek and Roman buff,
Yeah.
and then also a high school ancient history teacher got me into ancient Egypt, and so we learn a lot about all the different different gods.
Nice.
It's funny how you can learn ancient history and it's called Greek and Egyptian mythology, but then you go and have to do an RE class. They're like, no, Jesus was real.
Yeah,
So
totally the son of God.
he was born in Egypt 2,000 years ago, and he was white with blue eyes. Come on, man, of course.
Haven't you seen the pictures?
But we hate.
How
hung
do they
out
know what he looks like? They had to see him to draw him.
Yeah, we hate Jews, but he was the king of the Jews.
Yeah.
All right, good story.
Yeah.
Let's write stories about
few
him
plot holes.
500 years after he died.
What do you reckon? Just ran it back in now. What do you reckon? Carter got a promotion for?
Just for
above
she
and
saved the
going above
world.
and
Well, they were
yeah.
talking about
Blah,
Hathor,
blah.
weren't they? So you defeated Hathor. Didn't they make a big point about Hathor?
Yeah, they did in this episode again. Yeah,
Yeah.
She didn't do anything. She was
Yeah.
outside, trapped in the tunnels, and Jack
Jack.
was the one that threw her into the.
yeah,
I mean, they can't promote him anymore because they promote him from Colonel, who'll be a general.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, well, we can't promote him, so.
Yeah, she's the only one that got really any credit for saving the world, and I think they just said in general for all the
for
good
great,
work you've been doing,
Great
and
performance, and keeping the
Right.
Stargate up to date, and
keeping the gate technicians in line.
Putting in that palm print into the Stargate.
On that ceremony, that sort of, I think, supported my thoughts from a couple of weeks ago, where they just love how sexy the gate is. It's not about protection; it's how it looks, because the gate looks better when the iris isn't closed.
Yeah.
But they've got the Secretary of
does everything.
Defense there. They've got the entire SGC staff that are on base there in the gate. They've got they're not even they got champagne ready to go. They're not thinking about protection at any second. That thing could start dialing in. It's like.
Yeah.
Shit! Duck!
Standing in
Well, let's
front of
go. We've only got seconds
But it
right
does
before they
look
get an attack.
sexy.
But
There was a moment later in the episode where Hammond sends Carter to go and find something out, and he goes, "Major, you go and figure that out." And it's like the first time Hammond's called him Major. And I just want to see a scene where she just walks out of the room, stops at the doorway, and goes, "He called me Major," and then keeps going.
Like real girlfriend moment. Yeah.
Yeah, just like.
So it kind of disappointed me, the fact that the Asgard or Thor's just like
Capitulate.
bluffing them. Yeah, just like if they do something, you're
Yeah.
we're
we're bullshitting them. Yeah.
yeah, and he's like, we're fighting an enemy
Yeah, I was gonna
worse than
say,
the Goa'uld.
Did you pick up on that?
That was hectic.
We are not proud of the fact that we have been forced to ignore the situation
Can you
as
hear
long as we
Shanksy in
have.
that?
But you must understand There are other concerns for the Asgard. We have an enemy in our home galaxy that is far worse than the Goa'uld.
Worse?
I cannot explain further.
He's talking to himself.
For now, we use what limited resources we can spare to enforce these treaties with the Goa'uld.
So yeah, an enemy worse than the Goa'uld in the Asgard's home galaxy. That's why they can't just cut the Goa'uld.
Yeah, that excited me.
Yeah. Do you reckon the reason Thor couldn't, extrapolate on that is because the writers haven't thought of what it's going to be yet?
Absolutely. But yeah, that was pretty.
Call that a Cooperism.
Cooper. But that was pretty hectic. That they had like the most of their fleet over just defending this other enemy. I'm just like, oh.
And it's like, well, after seeing in Thor's chariot what one Asgard ship can do, it's like, oh snap.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, well, that ship is in orbit around Earth, and if he's saying if the Goa'uld decide to come and conquer Earth, and he can't do anything about it, even with technology and a ship that big, I'm just like, the Goa'uld is starting to sound bigger than what I'm giving him credit for.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like, or the enemy is just stretching the Asgard resources so far.
Yeah, true.
So it's just using the threat of its technology.
Yeah,
but if you can go undetected,
mano a mano, they're golden.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 1-on-1, Hatak's got no chance against an Asgard ship.
Because that's what he said. Hey, like if the Goa'uld armies went under one system lord, because they're arguing amongst themselves, that's basically what Thor's trying to do, is to keep them all
fighting
in charge,
and...
fighting amongst themselves. So that
we do not want a Pablo Escobar Goa'uld to come and just sort of unite all these guys.
So and then bloody Jack got an Asgard contact device.
Oh yeah,
the half an egg.
Do we ever see that again?
No, that was just for the episode. Thor took that back,
and we never saw it again.
We see those things again.
Yeah, but that particular one, like it's not like the little Tolan contacting device where we use it in another episode.
Yeah,
okay.
Nah, Thor just
pretty local.
Up whenever he wants.
It was pretty cool though. How do I use it? Just hold it.
That's right, because didn't he say it will work as long as my ship is in orbit?
Yeah.
So maybe he did leave it behind, but it's just useless now that the ship's gone.
Yeah, right.
I did want to touch on. I thought Brendan might be interested in this because it's we heard a lot of Goa'uld back and forward between Cronus and Teal'c in the corridor, and I know Brendan in particular loves all his Goa'uld words. So I actually tried to translate some of it. When Cronus walks through, like when there's Niti's cracking the shits because she's found the camera in her room, and Cronus walks out to see what's going on, and Teal'c basically says, "Oi, bitch, back off." He says, "Onak holka shaka," and I've basically Onak means God. Hol is stop and ka is no. So holkar is no, stop or whatever. And shaka is die. So he's basically saying God, stop or die.
Right.
Whoa.
That's sick.
And then Kronos replies, Trina are kronaka sholva. And of course we all know what sholva means.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything for Trina or kronaka, but Arik is do not. So I kind of feel like it's like I don't listen. I feel like it's gonna. I don't listen to you, Sholva.
Yeah.
Is basically all I can.
Do not talk to me like that, traitor.
Yeah.
Kronak. Maybe it's his word of
Kronaka.
saying...
No, it's Kronaka.
Kronaka, like a little bitch.
Yeah.
Cronus is bitch.
And then Teal'c replies as he storms off. He does the Kelmar Tokim, which he said back in Bloodlines, which Daniel translated as "revenge by the wearer of horns," which is what he said to Frotak for cuckolding his wife. So now he's kind of saying it again in returns. Basically, I think it's saying, "I'll get revenge for you killing my father, you son of a bitch."
Yeah.
So it must just be a common phrase on Chulak is "revenge by the wearer of horns."
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
Arik Triak Tikek, which is basically we do not surrender even in death, and that's something that I think you said at the conference table.
I think you were saying Brendan there for a second. It's like, I really had to think about that.
No, I said Shellkek them right.
There's another ongoing joke for you, Rhys, is every time we see you again, we do see him a couple more times, the amount of you jokes
Yeah, that's good.
is amazing. To the point in like...
Daniel and Jack.
Season...
Oh, who's on first?
Yeah.
At season 9, there's a like... Daniel is introducing a character or something like that, or someone's... and they go, "You?" And he goes, "No, don't. Every joke done to death."
Yeah.
Don't even.
So what did the treaty end up being? Like, I know how they they were able to still use the gate and whatnot.
Basically, Goa'uld can't attack Earth, but if we're out and about, they're going to fuck us up.
Yeah, so Earth is...
Can't do a direct attack to Earth.
Earth is now
right.
part
That's
of the Protected Planets Treaty, like Samaria, so the Goa'uld can't invade it.
And we're not allowed to advance our technology, right?
Yeah, was that in the
They
final
can't really
one?
police that. I don't
Yeah,
think.
they kind of skewed
I
around
can't believe that was the initial deal. It's like, don't get
Just
any
say
more
yes
advanced.
to everything.
Don't have a gate.
That's an already agreed to thing for the rest of the world, for the rest of the galaxy, on all humans, because obviously we learn in like the second or third episode that the planet of the Tari is lost. So yeah, it's kind of like, well, the Goa'uld are trying to get Earth into the pre-existing agreement, saying, well, the Asgard already agreed that humans aren't advanced enough to, they've got to stay low.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, we've kind of got to reevaluate that now that the Tari are...
I always took that as the Asgard can't give them shit to progress them. Like the Cimmerians. That's why Thor was so pissed off at Daniel and Sam for ruining the Cimmerians' like train of thoughts.
Yeah, now they know what's going on. It's
evolution.
Like they thought all the hammer and all that sort of stuff was magic. So yeah, and that's, I guess that's the thing. That's why Thor was confident enough he could put the hammer. He put the hammer down. Put the hammer down. To protect the planet, but wouldn't give them, technology to build houses and cure diseases and have electricity and not get scurvy and all that sort of stuff. Like,
but we'll give you a healing device.
yeah.
Another red herring there with who done it.
Yeah, I feel like
it was Teal'c and...
Well, and they were really pointing heavily towards Cronus. That's like everyone, like Teal'c had a problem with Cronus, and then Carter had a problem with Cronus because Jolene.
Yeah, it's like Cluedo or Clue.
Yeah, I feel like you was the only one that was never really, like going, oh yeah, it's probably him.
And then Nearty's like, no, can't heal it.
Yeah,
and New's like, I won't bother giving it a go. I'm too cranky.
Yeah.
Like
he didn't care anyway.
And
I'm surprised Carter didn't grab it right then and go, I'll give it a go. I had Jolinar.
I had Jolinar in me.
And last episode I could use it.
Yeah, legit. 7 days ago I used a ribbon device.
I love how they kept quiet the fact that, like, because one of the whole reasons that the treaty came about is because the System Lords heard about what happened to Hathor. It's like, well, shit, we better not tell them what happened to Seth then.
Yeah,
they didn't mention Seth at all. They're like, nope, we're not touching that one.
Was it Thor who mentioned Hathor as well?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm just like, why the big deal with Hathor again?
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't a big deal.
But wasn't Seth was being hunted by them anyway, wasn't he?
5,000 years ago.
They could have been like, hey mate, we killed the guy that you've been hunting.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. But then the flip side of that is like, oh, they've killed another System Lord or ex-System Lord that even the Goa'uld couldn't kill.
Yeah,
so it makes them seem like
that's
even more
three.
True. So
three, potentially four now.
You could go either way on that. I do want to talk about Hammond though. Now, we've talked in the past how it took me a while to warm to Hammond. One of my favourite things, and I think one of the turning points for me for Hammond was his yeehaw moment in the in the what is it, the needle threader in Into the Fire. But then he does something in this episode that gives me the serious irrits.
1 step forward and 2 steps back.
Yeah, it just does my head in. See if you can pick up what I'm at here.
How do we know the Asgard truly have our best interest at heart? The Asgard. The Asgard. The Asgard.
Asgard.
Even Teal'c got in there. Asgard.
I got an Asgard at home.
I've got an Asgard.
Pretty sure there's a Z or a Z in there.
But why?
Why?
But why?
It's like I get he intentionally, mispronounces Goa'uld and Jafar is like a
the
disrespect.
Asgard.
It's like Asgard.
Yeah.
Major, can you pass me my Asgard?
My Asgard.
I need it.
This is the American military.
It guards my ass.
This is the American military in the 90s. It's a don't ask, don't tell policy, sir. I need my Asgard.
So good plan or bad plan from Nieti? Like I guess it almost worked, but really it was like, well, man, it wasn't that convincing in the end. And now that it didn't work, it's like you've actually made the deal, the treaty, all that just so much worse. And
it was worth the risk, I reckon.
Yeah, I guess she couldn't have foreseen that Jolinar would, intervene. But is it equal opportunity that they could have, she couldn't have known that they'd have that device, but B, you could have picked it. Like, he could have volunteered to do it before she did. in that moment. So she kept her cool in that moment.
Yeah.
But it's like every contingency she had in terms of that they had to counter for, and then she's like, oh, well, I'm fucking invisible, I'm fine.
Yeah.
They had the TERs.
Yeah.
She didn't
So
see
it's
that
like,
coming.
if they didn't have the TERs, then she was out of there. She was gone. But
Yeah.
she would have been on the run because you would have reported back to the system lords that she was up to no good.
Yeah. But again, they bluffed her. That's how they proved it. If she had kept her cool in that moment, then that was it. That's dead.
But I guess that also
She's like, "No,
reinforces what we were saying before about, like, well, if those three Goa'uld had just worked together, we would have had to have given up a gate.
Yeah.
It's only because of their infighting we were able to use the leverage
They're
of
idiots.
healing Cronus and exposing Igniety that we got to keep our gate.
I find this episode hard to rewatch, and I usually skip it like I do with
Really?
Seth. Yeah, I just... I don't know.
Of this disc, like, because I watched it on the DVDs, of the 4 episodes on it, which is Into the Fire, Seth, Fair Game, and Legacy. Fair Game is my choice out of those 4.
Yeah,
Like, if
I
I'm gonna
usually
put that
go
on.
Legacy because of the Shanksy appeal.
Oh, yeah, you've got a bit of a man crush on him, don't you?
Ooh, who doesn't?
Shanksy.
Yeah.
I could say something controversial here. I
don't.
I will. No, I have always loved Daniel. Like I've always loved Daniel
That's
in
not
previous.
controversial at all.
No. I'm setting it up
Oh.
because this rewatch actually, I am irritated by Daniel Jackson so much more than I ever have been before. Like deadpanning 2 weeks ago and just condescending remarks that he makes all the time. And I'm like, dude, have you always been like this? And I've just never seen it because I saw myself and you being the nerd of the team because I wasn't Jack, not Teal'c, I'm not Carter. By default, I'm Daniel Jackson. And now I'm just like, what? Stop being a dick, man. I get you're smarter than everyone else on the team.
I hate to say it, but I think it might be a little bit of Michael Shanks leaking into the character.
I didn't think Jackson
Did
became...
I say that in
but I didn't,
episode 3 or something?
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I didn't think Jackson
Yeah.
became Shanks for a lot more seasons.
I just know that in a couple of seasons' time, he does not so much become a diva, but I feel like Michael Shanks as an actor feels a bit frustrated about the repetitive nature of the show, and he wants to be challenged every week when he goes to work, and I think that's why he took on the Thor part, why he took on the Michello part. He wants to be challenged as an actor, and he's got some massive acting chops. We see that in Legacy.
He wants to showcase himself.
Brendan and I
the other
often
one?
talk about Lifeboat.
Lifeboat's
as
amazing.
just a tour de force.
Yeah.
I watched an amazing brand new special feature on All Access Stargate Command this week of the 200th episode behind the scenes.
Have you got All Access?
I've never. No, I just watched the DVD because that's where I got it 10 years ago. In the related videos section, there was a little interview with Ben Browder, and this genuinely shocked me. He said, I don't want to spoil particular things for Rhys, but he said after a certain amount of episodes that he'd done, Shanksy got to the point where he was sick of the prank and him and Christopher Judge joking around all the time, where there was an entire week of an episode where Michael Shanks would be sitting on set like in the briefing and he had earplugs in because he couldn't handle the goofing around between Christopher Judge and Ben Browder.
See, I told you.
And I was like, oh, that really sort of hurt. That cut me because I was like, I love Michael Shanks and I love Daniel Jackson so much.
You asked me early
That's
on,
like
Maddie.
finding out your partner cheated on you or something. Like.
Yeah, but you think of it from his perspective, like if you got a job in an office and you're sitting next to an absolute douchebag that it just annoys you. I mean, I'm not saying he's a douchebag, but you're sitting next to someone that annoys you every day, and you got to go into work every day for like 12 hours a day.
And he's got a bit of that
be like,
serious actor kind of vibe to him. Actor.
That's what I mean. Like, you asked me, Maddie, who is my favourite character, who do I align myself with, and you thought I'd say Jack.
Yeah.
Which is partially true, because I loved Daniel in the first 4 to 5 seasons. And then that Shanksy started creeping in 7 and 8, and I was like, I'm a Jack man.
Okay, so I've always been solid Shanksy, solid Daniel all the way through.
Yeah.
He's always been my favourite character because I tend to find myself on his side all the time in terms of most of the philosophical debates he has with Jack. I always tend to fall on Daniel's side.
Yeah, I think you're meant to as well.
Yeah, I guess so. But
depending
then
where
again,
your
like,
moral compass is.
One of my mates who, Craig, who basically got me into Stargate, and the two of us would watch religion. He's an army man, so you know,
right.
he's all about Jack. You know, he's always siding with Jack's side of things. So that was a fun little sort of dichotomy that the two of us had while watching the show.
I just found this episode, the whole diplomatic stuff was I'm just like, nah, skip. And I don't know if it was just poorly written or.
Well, actually, I did want to ask you, on a scale of First Commandment to Fifth Race, where does Fair Game sit?
It's in the middle
in terms of a Robert Cooper episode.
So far, it's kind of it's in the middle. It's not the worst.
So it's just a coup, but not a full Cooper.
Yeah, I find it now. It looks like he's in charge of whenever there's an Asgard.
Yeah,
he's the go-to guy now.
Yeah, he does tend to run with that a lot.
It was just like I don't. It's not like I'm a brain dead idiot. I just want to see good guys and bad guys just shooting each other, and wow, that's what I want to show every week or anything. But I also don't like the idea that they are this evil race that enslave people and that can also go, well, we're justifying our evilness and we're controlling our evilness and we're going to channel it through this treaty and what this treaty allows our evilness and how it allows our evilness to flourish. Like,
yeah,
what? Like, it suits. I don't know why. Like, it's the Asgard. I'm just a bit like, what is going on? Like,
they're not quite our allies yet. I feel like they're kind of there. They choose us over the Goa'uld, but they're not quite like, you know.
I think they just, like Thor said, they don't have the manpower to basically wipe out the Goa'uld. So they're just trying to limit the damage by saying, we will we'll wipe you out if you start, destroying these planets. They're just trying to save individual planets.
They're basically the parent turning around in the backseat going, if you two don't play nice, I will turn this car around and no one's going to Disneyland.
And no one's calling their bluff. It's like, you already bought the tickets. No, you're not.
I think now Hera were going to Samaria called the bluff. And then Thor just straight up came and destroyed 3 Hatak Hatak platforms. But they were kind of like, oh, okay, well, thanks to SG-1, well, the Goa'uld went to Samaria, but thanks to SG-1, they let Thor know that the Goa'uld were there. So then it's kind of a catch-22 in terms of the way that Thor thinks about it.
I do feel like I'm going to start needing to have some kind of picture chart of all the Goa'uld system lords, because
didn't you have it last week, mate, with the pyramid?
Screenshot of that little pyramid.
There's at least a dozen, so don't worry about it.
You just got to know what all their logos look like and you'll be fine.
I'll just wait and do a Facebook survey. Which Goa'uld system lord are you?
I just feel that one from last week was totally out of date because Ra's still on top, and he's been dead for 3 to 4 years.
Update your software, bro.
Update your family tree. Deceased.
All right, that is episode 47 of Get Into Gate. Fair game. Or as you said last week.
Fair enough.
Let's suck at the sav.
Yeah.
Suck at the sav.
Next week we're talking Legacy. I'll be interested to see where you guys sit with that one compared to this one, which got, thrown around, tossed around and judged a fair bit. So more Jackson to love or hate, we'll see. Next week we'll be back for more Get Into Gate, Stargate Sundays. Until then, you can catch all our podcasts on SoundCloud and iTunes. Just simply search Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast. Find us on the social channels, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or drop us a line, getintogate@gmail.com. Of course, if you were ever so kind and listening to us on iTunes, please do drop us a review. The more stars, the better, and we'll love you for it. Just trust us, we do. We're nice like that. Help spread the word of the show to any other Stargate fans. Do it personally or do it by making a review. We do appreciate it. Lots of people have been doing it lately, and we are loving you for it. Thank you, guys.
If you have like a plane skywriting business,
yes,
Get Into Gate.
See?
Straight up.
I mean, that's the least you can do, I feel.
Absolutely.
The least.
Any wet cement you walk past, just hashtag Get Into Gate. Whatever. Like I said last week, it's up to you.
Graffiti artists out there.
Yeah.
But whatever you do, take a shot and send it to us.
Absolutely.
If the cement dries before you finish, it'll just say "Get in toga" and you'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll know what you mean. We'll know what you mean. I am Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram. Matty?
At Onak Holka Shaka.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good luck spelling that. If you find him, screenshot that and send it to us as well. Brendan.
At the Brendan Gibson on Instagram.
And Rhys.
I'm at the Flying Gibson. What you just said, Matty, reminded me of like Finding Nemo, where they're like, Uka shaka, Uka shaka. Mount Wanahakalugi.
Bring a fire!
Bubbles! How many times have you seen that, Rhys? You don't even have kids.
Mate,
I know I've had a lot of shit about Roseanne, but I own Finding Nemo on DVD, and I don't care who knows it.
absolutely. Finding Nemo's the bomb.
I may or may not walk around my house trying to speak whale.
Again, take a shot of that and send it in.
Yeah.
GetIntoGeek.com.